to Healing Horizons with Saima, the space where ancient wisdom meets modern living. Today, I'm joined by our two amazing guests, Sheri Laine and Gary Seidler, two voices passionate about the body, mind, and spirit lifestyle. Together, they explore humanness in today's world and how health and wellness can become not just practices, but ways of being. This conversation promises to be as grounding as it is expansive. So, Sheri and Gary, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's my pleasure to have you both here. So, when you talk about humanness today, I wonder that what does that mean in a world so shaped by technology and speed?
Well, I personally feel very sad. I don't know if that's the correct word, but I feel very, a little bit depressed when I look at the world today, at least from the perspective that we are both Americans. We are traveling abroad right now in Europe, but we are not happy about the state of the union in the United States, and in fact, not feeling wonderful about the direction that much of the world, at least politically as well as technologically, is taking. And so I feel, bottom line, that there is less humanness in the world today, and that's exactly what we need to put our focus on to retain the humanity that we were born with.
I think what I feel is that the more we can gather together and let our inner lights shine as much as possible through health and wellness and conversations and lifestyle, that the more we're going to be able to regenerate our own humanness. And then because our own lights will be shining brighter, we can spread the light to other people's light and their lights will be shining brighter. Conversation we all need to have about being the very best that we can be in times of the upheaval that the world is going into.
That's first of all, thank you both for sharing such thoughtful perspective on what humanness means in this, fast technology driven world, and the way each of you framed it from the deep personal aspects you touched on the border, cultural shifts you highlighted really shows how layered this topic is.
Very layered, very layered. There's so many ways of seeing how life is unfolding and how you can allow it to unfold for you in ways that work for your own, to be able to support yourself in being the best human that you can be.
Absolutely. So, do you think we are losing touch with something essential in our rush to be modern?
Are we losing touch? What I think is that we all have it inside of us. So I think what's happening is that so many of us are actually not reaching in because of other perspectives on life. So it's not so much that they're losing touch because it's always with them. It's that they're not touching in.
Well, it's difficult for us to really speak of the humanness in a particular region, of the country. And I don't know if you're really asking about, humanness in a global sense, or if you're talking, but because you're asking the questions that you are in terms of technology, I am assuming that you are taking a position that we are becoming less and less human and becoming more and more technically driven, so to speak.
Exactly.
And the biggest, I guess, there are many issues and many concerns, and I, for one, I'm 82 years old on this earth, and I've seen enormous changes, technology wise, and to actually think that we are in a place now where we are, in a sense, threatened to be taken over by robots and objects that fly around in the sky, and cars that go
Drive alone.
that drive alone. So I think our very humanness is
Changing. Very
yeah,
much changing.
if not in jeopardy.
Well, and I don't
Mhm.
necessarily think that way. Gary's very thinks on that of his own mind. My mind is that it's could be in jeopardy, but I think enough people have a consciousness about them that they will be thinking globally but acting locally to conserve that amount of spiritual growth, human growth, communication growth, relationship growth, and self-growth. I have a great belief in the human spirit. Now, it might be a very innovative spirit that we haven't seen before because of where we are in the world. But at the end of the day, I think we all kind of want the same things, and some of us just might go other roads to reach them.
First of all, thank you both for being so candid with your thoughts and the way you each approach that idea about what we might be losing the rush to be modern really brings out different layers of the conversation.
Absolutely.
And it is a very layered conversation because, see, a part of you almost has to check out to be a part of the mechanical conversation of AI and apps and, working on computers and robots. We don't necessarily approach that with our feeling brain. We approach that with our cerebral, more intellectual brain, our no emotion brain, right?
I agree. Yes, absolutely.
So,
Now, this,
no,
yes,
no, go ahead. Now what?
no, please continue.
Well, and so what needs more and more people are finding out, and the people who haven't found it out are going to find out there's an amount of equilibrium that needs to be obtained through each of our own selves that allow us to leave that cerebral brain behind and then get into the part of the brain where you get the dopamine release and the emotional release and the regulation for the true humanness.
Absolutely, yes. That's powerful. And I too feel, it reminds us that humanness isn't outdated, it's what keeps us real.
I'm sorry, it's what gives us what?
Like, it reminds us that humanness isn't outdated, it's what keeps us real.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, it's within us.
It's within all of you. I mean, when you look at someone you love, it's not from your computer brain, it's from your emotional,
Hmm.
right?
Absolutely, yes, yes, I agree.
Yeah, when you
Now that,
yes.
please continue.
No, go ahead.
No, I just wonder now that, the phrase body, mind, and spirit is often used, but how do you see this, truly working together?
Well, I will tell you the Oriental way, because that's my specialty, Oriental medicine, how we see mind, body, spirit. And then Gary can tell you another way that he sees, okay?
Hmm?
I see the mind, body, spirit as the mind, which would be where all your thoughts, feelings, and emotions stems from, is what leads the chi. The mind leads the chi. Your chi is your life force. Your life force flows down your entire body. It's the electromagnetic field we all carry with us into the world. It's everywhere you go. It's a seen energy and an unseen energy. When you walk into a room, you feel something. That's a life force. That is inside of your body as well. When you meet someone, you see their life force. That life force is in your body. When your mind is healthy, your life force is healthier. So what we say is the immune system spies on the brain. It all happens inside your mind. It trickles down into your body. That makes your body stronger. That's mind body medicine, right? We do things to take care of ourselves so that our minds work better. And when our minds work better, we get all the right hormones, the right endorphins, the right life force. And that makes us more powerful human beings in everything that we do. So it's like, it's a team, right?
Absolutely, yes, that makes sense.
And, it's like that yin yang signal. Everything, the yin yang symbol is the darkness and the light. They flow into each other. And then within the small darkness, there's a small bit of light. And within the light, there's a little bit of dark because it's the opposing forces that all work together to balance, bring you equilibrium. So that's my idea. Gary, what's yours?
The only word that comes to mind that was missing from that conversation, which I really wholeheartedly support, is the word balance.
Equilibrium.
Yes, equilibrium. I use the word balance because I feel that there needs to be a balance in all things. And if there is a balance between mind and body and spirit, I think that's about as good as it gets. It's when something is out of balance in terms of that equation that something is perhaps not working as well as it should. And I'm very encouraged, however, because, as a retired publisher, I could remember decades ago where people were just beginning to talk about the connection between mind, body, and spirit. And now I think it's, well recognized I hope throughout the world that, the importance of a healthy mind, the importance of a healthy body, and a belief in a power greater than yourself. And so, yeah, I had a very good friend once who told me that if some part of your life is really troubled and not working well, something in your life is out of balance. So, yeah, I think it's a very important connection and is the connection that fuels life.
Mm-hmm. You both, thank you for those thoughtful reflections. And I love how your answers complement each other, I would say. Like the idea of seen and unseen energy speaks to the deeper, often invisible connections that shape our lives, while the emphasis on balance reminds us that none of the suspects can thrive in isolation, and together your perspectives create a powerful picture, Sherry and Gary. Like, caring for the mind can uplift everything else, but it's that harmony between body, mind, and spirit that truly sustains us. And I think our listeners will really connect with the way you each frame this.
Well, yes, and I also really want to stress to you, Seema, the importance of a healthy lifestyle in that.
Mhm.
You have to eat really healthy foods. You have to eat from the earth. You have to eat through the colors of the seasons because those are the things that make you strong. Getting enough rest, exercising regularly, expressing your feelings, all of those things, creation, meditation, all of those things make the healthy body go with the spirit and the mind.
That sounds refreshing. That's already sounds refreshing. That's again a powerful reminder.
That's a piece of it, the equilibrium, right? That's part of the puzzle.
Hmm. Yes, absolutely. Yes, I agree. Now, is there one area people, tend to neglect most, and what's the cost of that neglect?
That's an interesting question.
I think probably the one thing that people maybe don't pay enough attention to is sleep. I think a lot of people don't concentrate on sleep and relationship. I think those two are really important in helping to have a happier life because emotion have so much to do with humanness and checking out and not becoming more like a robot.
I think in answer to that question, I think in terms of, what do I think in terms of?
I don't know.
Cancel that thought.
Emotions, being real. I mean, I think if we're to swing a conversation around, a lot of what's happening in the United States is very fear-based for a lot of people because, or maybe around the world, because authoritarian people need control and they rule on fear. And so a lot of people are coming from fear-based rather than love-based.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that gets into a whole, situation of looking at, life as it is being played out in many countries and many cities right now. I don't really think that gets to the question, that you're really asking. But I think that what people I look at it this way, there are human doings, like we are, at least in the Western culture that I'm more familiar with, we are human doings rather than human beings much of the time. We're busy, busy, busy. We have our jobs, we have our loved ones, we have, if we're fortunate, we're parents. We have so much going on that we become human doings, and we really don't necessarily spend enough time just on being, whether that means being in nature, being in meditation, being in play, being in art, being in some form of creativity. It's difficult to sometimes do more than you have to do because There's so much to do for so many people. Yeah. Yeah.
Those were really wonderful insights. And I feel that what really stands out is how you connected all of these areas of sleep, relationships, and then again, time in nature and space for creativity. Like neglecting any of them doesn't, just affect that single area. I feel that it can drain our energy, our sense of connection, even, and even our inspiration. And I appreciate how you have each highlighted different but complementary pieces of what keeps us whole. And together, your points reminds us that caring for ourselves is about more than just the obvious. It's about nurturing rest, connection, and the environment that feeds our creativity.
Absolutely. And especially the way the world is right now, because there is a lot going on in our world. I mean, let's say there is an electric fence around life right now for so many people. And in order for us to handle that vibration, we have to take the best care of ourselves that we can so that we can rise to the occasion and be with that change of vibration.
Absolutely, yes. So, could wellness be seen more as prevention than cure?
I actually think that the more you take care of yourself, you are preventing something from happening that doesn't serve you or the people around you, because it's like you have a beautiful garden inside of yourself. When you feed and nourish the garden soil, the plant grows beautifully. You're the soil, you're the garden, you're the plant.
That's a beautiful example that really reframes wellness as a lifestyle instead of a quick fix when things go wrong. How do you both see community influencing our health and spiritual well being today?
Well, honestly, I think we all find our own community, Seema. I think what you do is you go out and you do your best self and you attract people to you that have some kind of similar vibration or light. I mean, you go every day and you do your workout. Some people in China do their workout in the park. Other people come and join them. They do Tai Chi early mornings in the park. Anybody can come. You find your community. Say you go to a yoga class, you find community there, and then you know those people through that community. And then you share similar conversations, you share similar life goals. You go to a college, you go to a university, you learn something new, you meet like-minded people. So you create your own communities with the places that you choose to play.
It can be a book club. It's a wonderful way to connect with people who enjoy reading.
Go
Travel club, travel together in group.
explore the world, have different conversations. I mean, it's just all about opening yourself up to all the possibilities that make us all more human.
And these are all wonderful things that you would like to think, you would take for granted. But I think what Sheri is also saying is that, and again, we have to speak to our experience. We're very fortunate that we get to travel a lot, so we know a little bit about what's going on in Europe, both politically and on the streets. And we know about the situation in the UK because we have family there, and so we spend time there. But we're essentially Americans, from the United States, and we really can only speak knowledgeably from that experience. Every country I know has its own issues, but it seems like in our world in the United States, it really is. These are very, very troubling times. And I think that, if one does have faith, this is, uh, a very good time to have it because the world is changing awfully quickly. And in some respects, at least technologically, what you're asking about, there's nothing any of us can do to stop it. So we need to embrace it. We need to see all the good that it's going to bring, hopefully the efficiency and, who knows what, maybe we'll go to the moon and Mars one of these fine days, and many of us feel, or at least I should say I feel, that, the money the billions and billions and billions of dollars that it costs to explore out of space would be so much better used to help feed the poor on this planet. So, you've got extreme humanness on the one side of what I'm saying, and you've got extreme, advance, technological advance on the other side. And so coming back to your original, point of humanness, I am concerned, and I'm generally an optimist, but I am concerned because, it just feels like it's rapidly on decline. Like what we perhaps need is a kindness revolution. We can need to be kind to one another. We need to understand that we are all together on this earth and that we are much more the same than we are different. And we have Sheri and I have our own podcast that we've just started called Immigrants Road, and it's really designed to again show that immigrants are being used as scapegoats, but in the United States we are all immigrants. I mean, the country is only 250 years old. Unlike India, we're newcomers, and everybody in America is a newcomer except for Native Americans. So we're trying to draw attention to that fact. But there again, we need to connect. We have to connect because we are human beings. We are all human beings, and we have to, because if we don't, we are extinct.
Absolutely. It's such a powerful point that you both have made that community isn't just something we find, but something we can build. And I love that. I also love how you tied in kindness, exploration, and seeking out spaces like colleges or parks, as you said, as ways to, stay connected. And your insights really show that how intentional community can nurture both our health and spiritual well being. Now, if someone listening feels disconnected from their body or spirit, what's one simple first step they can take today?
How about just go outside, put your bare feet in the earth, on the grass, in the sand, and just feel the earth. Just stand there, or lay there with your feet down on the ground. Just take nice deep breaths and just reconnect. Then just take off your shoes and lay down on the ground.
That's, I really love both of those suggestions. They're like, simple yet so powerful. Like walking barefoot on the earth is such a beautiful way to ground ourselves in nature. And a genuine hug, as you said, can, instantly remind us that we are not alone. And the way you have shared this idea shows how connection and healing can begin with the smallest, most human gestures.
There you go.
Like, from where are they? Who are they? Like, our listeners are mostly from North America, APAC, and Europe, with like 70 to 80% from North America as well.
Beautiful. It's
Beautiful.
wonderful they have you. It's beautiful that you're giving people this opportunity to learn.
Thanks, Atone. That means a lot. And this was really an inspiring exchange with Sheri Laine and Gary Seidler, both of you. Your wisdom shows us that health and wholeness are not destinations; they are daily choices that shape who we become. So, listeners, if this conversation touched you, begin today with one mindful step toward your body, one honest breath for your mind, and one act of kindness for your spirit. Together, we create horizons worth living.